How to attract friends. The man who has learned to love all people, no matter who they may be, will find plenty of people who will return that love to him. This is not mere sentiment, and it is more than a religious attitude of mine. It is a deep scientific fact, and one to which we should pay attention. The reason is this: as all is mind, and as we attract to us what we first become, until we learn to love, we are not sending out love vibrations, and not until we send out love vibrations can we receive love in return. One of the first things to do is to learn to love everybody. If you have not done this, begin to do so at once. There is always more good than bad in people, and seeing the good tends to bring it forth. Love is the greatest healing and drawing power on earth. It is the very reason for our being, and that explains why it is that people should have something or somebody to love. The life that is not loved has not lived. It is still dead. Love is the sole impulse for creation, and the man who does not have it as the greatest incentive in his life has never developed the real creative instinct. No one can swing out into the universe without love, for the whole universe is based upon it. What we find that we are without friends. The thing to do is at once to send our thought out to the whole world. Send it full of love and affection. Know that this thought will meet the desires of some other person who is wanting the same thing, and in some way the two will be drawn together. Get over thinking that people are queer. That kind of thought will only produce misunderstanding and cause us to lose the friends that we now have. Think of the whole world as your friend. But you must also be that friend of the whole world. In this way, and with this simple practice, you will draw to you so many friends that the time will be too short to enjoy them all. Refuse to see the negative side of anyone. Refuse to let yourself misunderstand or be misunderstood. Do not be morbid. Know that everyone wants you to have the best. Affirm this wherever you go, and then you will find things just as you wish them to be. The atmosphere created by a real lover of the race is so powerful that although his other shortcomings may be many, still the world will love him in return. To him who loveth, much, much will be forgiven. People are dying for real human interests, for someone to tell them that they are all right. Which person do we like the better? The one who is always full of trouble and fault-finding? Or the one who looks at the world as his friend and loves it? The question does not need to be asked. We know that we want the company of the person who loves, and loving forgets all else. The only reason we think other people are queer is because they do not happen to think as we do. We must get over this little petty attitude and see things in the large. The person who sees what he wants to see, regardless of what appears, will someday experience in the outer what he has so faithfully seen within. From selfish motives alone, it is from no loftier reason. We cannot afford to find fault, or to hate, or even to hold in mind anything against any living soul. The God who is love cannot hear the prayer of the man who is not love. Love and cooperation will yet be found to be the greatest business principle on earth. God is love. We will make our unity with all people, with all life. We will affirm that God in us is unified with God in all. This one is now drawing into our life all love and fellowship. I am one with all people, with all things, with all life. As I listen, in the silence, the voice of all humanity speaks to me and answers the love that I hold out to it. The great love that I now feel for this world is the love of God, and it is felt by all and returned from all. Nothing comes in between because there is nothing but love to come in between. I understand all people, and that understanding is reflected back to me from all people. I help, therefore I am helped. I uplift, therefore I am uplifted. Nothing can mar this perfect picture of myself and my relations with the world. It is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I am now surrounded by all love, all friendship, all companionship, all health, all happiness, all success. I am one with life. I wait in the silence while the Great Spirit bears this message to the whole world. The control of thought. The man who can control his thought can have and do what he wishes to have and to do. Everything is his for his asking. He must remember that whatever he gets is his to use, but not his to hold. Creation is always flowing. It's flowing by, and we have as much of it as we can take and use. More would cause stagnation. We are relieved of all thought of clinging to anybody or anything. Cannot the great principle of life create for us faster than we can spend or use? The universe is inexhaustible. It is limitless. It knows no bounds and has no confines. We are not depending on a reed shaken by the wind, but on the principle of life itself. For all that we want, have, or ever shall have, it is not some power or a great power. We affirm again, it is all power. All that we have to do is to believe this and act as though it were so, never wavering, not even once, no matter what happens. As we do this, we shall find that things are steadily coming our way, and that they are coming without that awful effort that destroys the peace of the majority of the race. We know that there can be no failure in the divine mind, and this mind is the power on which we are depending. Now, just because we are depending upon divine mind, we must not think that we do not have to do our share. God will work through us if we will let him. But we must act in the outer as though we were sure of ourselves. Our part is to believe and then to act in faith. Jesus went to the tomb of Lazarus, believing and knowing that God was working through him. Often we may have to go somewhere or do something, and we must know with deep conviction that there will be a power going with us that none can gainsay. When we feel this secure place in our thought, all that we will have to do is act. There is no doubt but that the creative power of the universe will answer. It always does. And so we need not take the worry upon ourselves, but rather we will make known our request with thanksgiving. When Jesus said, "All things whatsoever ye pray and ask for, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them," he was uttering one of those many deep truths that were so clear to him, and that we are just beginning to see. He knew that everything is made out of mind, and that without that positive acceptance on the part of the individual, there is no mold into which mind can pour itself forth into form. In the mind of God, there is the correct mold, the true knowing. But in the mind of man, there is not always this true knowing. Since God can do for us only by doing through us, nothing can be done for us unless we are positively receptive. But when we realize the law and how it works, then we will provide that complete inner acceptance. By so doing, we permit the Spirit to do the work to make the gift. The reason we can make our requests known with thanksgiving is because we know from the beginning that we are to receive, and therefore we cannot help being thankful. This grateful attitude to the Spirit puts us in very close touch with power and adds much to the reality of the thing that we are dealing with. Without it, we can do but little, so let us cultivate all the gratitude that we can. In gratitude, we will send our thoughts out into the world, and as it comes back, it will come laden with the fruits of the Spirit. Creating atmosphere. To the student who has realized that all is mind and that everything is governed by law, there comes another thought. It is that he can create, or have created for him from his own thinking. He can create such a strong mental atmosphere of success that its power of attraction will be irresistible. He can send his thoughts throughout the world and have it bring back to him whatever he wants. He can so fill his place of business with the power of success that it will draw from far and near. Thought will always bring back to us what we send out. First, we must clear out thought of all unbelief. This book is written for those who believe, and to those who do believe it will come true in their lives. Without mental clearness on the part of the thinkers, there can be no real creative work done. As water will reach only its own level, so mind will return to us only what we first believed. We are always getting what we believe, but not always what we want. Our thought has the power to reach, in the outer form of conditions, an exact correspondence to our inner convictions. By thinking, you set in motion a power that creates. It will be exactly as you think. You throw out into mind an idea, and mind creates it for you and sets it on the path of your life. Think of it, then, as your greatest friend. It is always with you wherever you may be. It never deserts you. You are never alone. There is no doubt, no fear, no wondering. You know. You are going to use the only power that there is in the universe. You are going to use it for a definitive purpose. You have already fixed this purpose in your thought. Now you are going to speak it forth. You are speaking it for your own good. You desire only the good, and you know that only the good can come to you. You have made your unity with life, and now life is going to help you in your affairs. You are going to establish in your rooms such an atmosphere of success that it will become an irresistible power. It will sweep everything before it as it realizes the greatness and the almightiness of the One. You are so sure that you will not even look to see if it is going to happen. You know. And now your word, which is one with the infinite life, is to be spoken in calm, perfect trust. It is to be taken up, and at once it is to be operated on. Perfect is the pattern, and perfect will be the result. You see yourself surrounded by the things that you desire. More than this, you are the thing that you desire. Your word is now establishing it forever. See this, feel it, know it. You are now encompassed by perfect life, by infinite activity, by all power, by all guidance. The power of the Spirit is drawing to you all people. It is supplying you with all good. It is filling you with all life, truth, and love. Wait in perfect silence while that inner power takes it up. And then you know that it is done unto you. There goes forth from this word the power of the infinite. The words which I speak, they are spirit, and they are life. The power of words. Man's words, spoken forth into creative mind, is endowed with power of expression. By our words we are justified, and by our words we are condemned. Our word has the exact amount of power that we put into it. This does not mean power through effort or strain, but power through absolute conviction or faith. It is like a little messenger who knows what he is doing and knows just how to do it. We speak into our words the intelligence which we are, and backed by that greater intelligence of the universal mind, our word becomes a law unto the thing for which it is spoken. Jesus understood this far better than we do. Indeed, he absolutely believed it, for he said, "Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away till all be fulfilled." This makes our word inseparable from absolute intelligence and power. Now, if any word has power, it must follow that all words have power. Some words may have a greater power than others, according to our conviction, but all words have some power. How careful then we should be what kind of words we are speaking. All this goes to prove that we really are one with the infinite mind, and that our words have the power of life within them, that the word is always with us and never far off. The word is within our own mouth. Every time we speak, we are using power. We are one in mind with the whole universe. We are all eternally united in this mind with real power. It is our own fault if we do not use this truth after we see it. We should feel ourselves surrounded by this mind, this great pulsating life, this all-seeing and all-knowing reality. When we do feel this near presence, this great power and life, then all we have to do is speak forth into it. Speak with all the positive conviction of the soul that has found its source. And above all else, never fear, but that it will be done unto us, even as we have believed. What wonderful power! What a newness of life and of power of expression is waiting for those who really believe. What may the race not attain to when men wake up to the real facts of being? And yet the race has not begun to live, but the time is drawing near. Already, thousands are using this great power, and thousands are eagerly watching and waiting for the new day. Why belief is necessary. Always, when we pray, we must believe. Our idea of prayer is not so much asking God for things, as it is in believing that we already have the things that we need. As we have said before, this already believing is necessary because all is mine, and until we have provided that full acceptance, we have not made a mold into which mind could pour itself and through which it could manifest. This positive belief is absolutely essential to real creative work, and if we do not at present have it, then we must develop it. All is law, and cause and effect obtain through all life. Mind is cause, and what we term matter, or the visible, is effect. As water will freeze into the form that it is poured, so mind will solidify only into the forms that our thought takes. Thought is form. The individual provides the form. He never creates or even manifests. That is of himself. There is something that does all this for him. His sole activity is the use of this power. This power is always in hand, ready to be spoken into, and at once ready to form the words into visible expression. But the mold that most of us provide is a very poor one, and we change it so quickly that it is more like a motion picture than anything else. Already we have the power. It is the gift of the Most High in its finite expression. But our ignorance of its use has caused us to create the wrong form, which in its turn has caused mind to produce the form which we have thought into it. From this law of cause and effect, we may never hope to escape, and while we may think of it as a hard thing, at first, yet when we understand, we shall see it as an absolute justice, without which there could be no real, self-acting individual life at all. Because of our divine individuality, even God may have to wait our recognition of Him and His laws. People in business will do well to remember this, and so to form their thought that they will be willing to receive what they send out. No thought of discouragement or disorder should ever be created, but only positive assurance, strong thoughts of success, of divine activity, the feeling that with God all things are possible, the belief that we are one with the great mind. These are the thoughts that make for success. The realization that we are dealing with one and not with two powers enables us to think with clearness. We are not troubled about competition or opposition or failure because there is nothing but life. And this life is continually giving to us all that we could ask for, wish, or think into it. We can now see how essential it is that thought should be held one-pointed, that we should think always and only upon what we want, never letting our mind dwell on anything else. In this way, the Spirit works through us.